Hello and welcome to the Outcast. I'm your host HC and with me is.
Wolf.
And today the Outcast is no longer Uncharted for Uncharted. I was expecting the boo, but okay, we'll go with
I,
that.
I
Why
don't have
not?
I don't I don't have the booze set up, so you get the rim
Oh,
job
come on.
instead. I don't know
Okay.
where it's at.
Well, okay, whatever. Bad joke is bad jokes. you know. Or as Kadika says it, the bad joke.
Here.
Okay. Yeah.
You can have
Literally,
that.
literally uncharted because that's the sound of.
Oof.
Okay, but anyway, so we are here to talk about Uncharted, and the thing is that we are mostly going to review the new movie, or at least talk
Yeah,
about the
because
new
those are
movie.
good. No one likes the games, right?
Shut up right now before you hurt yourself. But anyway, but the thing is that so to here's how we're approaching this. We are going to talk about the movie. However, Wolfie Boy here didn't play the games, or
I've
at
seen
least,
them.
yeah, but you are the newbie.
Yeah.
Okay,
I have
you
less
are the
experience. Yeah.
new. Yeah, you like. How much have you seen from the game? Just to.
I've seen like all of them story wise. I know more or
Oh,
less what they're
oh,
about.
so you know the plot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I know the plot. I'm
Mhm.
familiar with the characters. I get it. I know what. Oh, that's a reference. Oh, that's a reference. I get that. I can point those out to a degree.
Mhm. Well, then, sounds like I don't have much of a job to do today, but okay. But Wolf is familiar with the games, but he didn't play them. I played all of them, and yeah, now we're here to, and so we're gonna talk about the movie, but we're also gonna make game comparisons because it's fun talking about an adaptation and pointing out the differences.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so quick. For the record, kind of non-spoilery thoughts. Wolf, what did you think about the movie?
I thought it was okay, an enjoyable film. I don't feel like I wasted my time watching it, but I don't
Mhm.
think it's, something I'm going to write home about and praise it from the rooftops. And
Yeah,
shout its praises from the rooftops. It is decidedly okay. That's all right. Yeah, it
yeah.
worked.
Uh, and I would agree. Again, like I don't think my time and money were wasted. I don't think it's something that when people say, "Oh, video game movie curse," it's not a bell of a curse. I won't say it would necessarily convince you that the curse is dead because Sonic the Hedgehog 2 needs to come out in a few weeks and at the time of this recording, and that is going to break the curse forever.
You hope.
Fact, but
It
anyway,
very well.
but
There could have been. There's a universe out there where the first one just kept that original design and it did not break the curse at all.
well, we are not in that universe, and at the time of this recording, there's some good reviews going on
I
for
don't.
Sonic the
I
Hedgehog
don't know,
2.
man.
So yeah,
I want to be in that other universe and see that Sonic.
well you can go there. I'll stay here and
It
have
might be
fun.
better than the one we're currently in. I don't know, but it might be worse too. But they got that Sonic, and I want to see it. I want to see it. That Sonic in that
Oh,
film. I just want to see it.
okay. Well,
I also just want to see all the Sonic
topic
fans
for
just
another
cry.
day. Talk, you know, topic for another day. But yeah, but regarding
Possession.
each other, I would say again, I think it got it. Like the
Yeah.
people behind the movie knew what the game is. They knew what made the games fun. They knew what made the games, enjoyable and
Mm-hmm.
what drew people to them. However, it's one of those things that everything is here, but there's like this core thing which is missing. And that core thing I feel is in the direction. And like that, it feels like it's written like the games, kind of sounds like them, acts like them, but there's something about the way things are being said. There's something about the way things are being filmed, edited, and stuff that it feels like the people know what they're doing, but it's not quite there. It's not. It's not nailing it on the head. You know what I mean?
I get you.
And sadly, some of those things could have been easily fixed. And you know what? I'm just gonna say right off the bat, Mark Wahlberg, what the fuck?
I, I don't hate him as Sully, but it's such a weird choice. He just does not
Oh,
fit.
I don't hate him as Sully. I loathe him as Sully. What the hell was this?
I thought like
Because
acting wise he was doing great, but or
not
he was
even
doing
that.
okay, but
No, I'm sorry. I'll hardly disagree there. It's like, ugh. And granted, sometimes I think they just didn't give him the right material. Maybe it's a
mm,
direction thing. Maybe it's him. Maybe it's something else. But Sully is like my favorite in the games, and
fair.
he's like not in this movie. It's a guy called Sully, but it's not Victor Gotham Sully.
I
Just
felt
a dude.
for me personally, I felt like when I felt like, all right, I can see the Sully there. It was really only when he was bantering back and forth with Nate, with Tom Holland,
Yeah,
and I thought the banter was probably one of the better parts of the movie. Like I felt like, yeah, this feels like Uncharted banter. I think they nailed the quippiness here just
yeah.
pretty well. But that's really
That's
the
what
only
I
time
mean,
it
though.
really felt like it.
Yeah, that it's like again, the bantery between the characters is there, and it feels like okay, if I just read those lines on a script, if I just read those lines in a script, I would say okay, I can hear the characters saying lines like this, I can hear them talk like this, but like the way at least Mark Wahlberg acts those lines or lack of acting those lines depends.
That's
That
fair.
just feels off.
That's fair.
That just felt off
Very fair.
because let's say let's say in a game Sully would say oh god damn it we're gonna break our goddamn necks, like he would really emphasize the cynicism, and then Mark Wahlberg like oh, okay, if we're here, we're gonna break our goddamn necks. It's like, it's not Sully. Sully is not supposed to be this monotone. He's supposed
Yeah.
to be a cranky old man. He's supposed to be like you. You should get it.
Thinking about it, yeah, I do agree. Mark Wahlberg did at least at times, like there was a few moments where he did feel really invested. But there are a couple of times where it's like, all right, I'm here to get my paycheck. Say this line, done. All right, get paycheck, thanks. I'm out, and then that was it.
Mhm. With that said, I also think that Tom Holland was the casting choice that I was really iffy on when I first heard about this. But I, he's not my ideal choice, but he did good. He
I
did
think
good.
he could grow into Nate, right? I
Yeah,
think as he got older,
which
he could grow into him.
honestly works for what this movie is trying to do, because
Agree.
the movie is basically, how do I say it? It's not necessarily a prequel, but they are kind of setting up that this Nathan Drake would eventually grow into the Nathan Drake you get to know in the first game,
Mm-hmm.
where he's a bit more experienced, where he's been through this before. But they're also doing their own thing with it. Like you said, you've seen the stories of the other games, but like
Mm-hmm.
the stuff they do with Sam, Nate's brother,
Yeah,
that's kind of similar, but also kind of different than what's going on in the games.
yeah. We should probably spoilers from this point forward.
Yeah, we didn't
Essentially.
specify anything, but before we go to major spoilers, I'll just say that I also on this point maybe cut on top. I have a quick video review of the movie in my YouTube channel HCSP1. Go check that out if you will. And
Fucking chill.
cut, yeah, hey, it's my podcast. I can plug it if I want to. And but on this note, I guess if I need to really say something, then like if you're a newcomer to Uncharted, you've never played the games, you never you don't know anything about them, I'd say it's a fun ride. You won't be blown away by anything. It won't be your new favorite movie or something, but you'll have a good time. If you are a fan of the games, you're gonna probably notice that it's not exactly the same. But if you're willing to accept the fact that it's a new thing, it's a new take, new medium, new everything, I think you'll mostly have a good time with this
I, I would agree. I think as someone who's like, I know the games, I'm familiar with them, but I'm not super in love with them. I'm just like, oh yeah, those were fun. Moving on. And I think, this movie kind of comes across the same way. It's like, yeah, that was all right. Moving on. It's very forgettable. It's very much, it's
one.
very meh. It's very okay. There's nothing here
I'll
that
say this
offends, but there's nothing
because
here that's really, really like, yeah, that.
I'll, I'll also say because part of the charm of Uncharted was never that because it was basically an Indiana Jones that you could control.
Mm-hmm.
What really made the game click with people were not just the cinematics and the story and the characters, and especially not the originality because they were not original. But again, what carried through is the likability of the characters and the scenarios, but also that a lot of the action sequences you could control in ways
Mm-hmm.
that games didn't do back then. Like when you look back, like the first game, less so. They were still kind of trying to figure it out, but like in the second game where you have Nate hanging on from that train in the Himalayas, or in the third one where you need to get back on the plane and jump between the boats, and in the fourth one there's like the point where you need to jump from the car into a car chase and eventually land on a motorcycle. Those bits usually in games like this would be just cinematics, but in Uncharted made you feel like for the first time made you like control this. You were in control in these sequences, and games took from that eventually. So now that you are in a medium where the viewers have no control, it's kind of hard to emphasize. It's kind of hard to emphasize just how much important these games were to the for like action platformers.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you.
This is so. This is not gonna be. This is not gonna. If you've seen Indiana Jones or some of the other adventure movies that came out since then, you probably seen this one already, just under a different name. It doesn't mean
Mm.
it's bad, but it doesn't mean that nothing is going to surprise you.
The film I would most liken this to is National Treasure, but not as memorable. National Treasure works. National Treasure is an awful movie, but it works because just it's awful. It's terrible, but it's such a wonderful movie because everyone there is doing their best and giving it their all. And National Treasure works because Nick Cage makes it work. Let's just be honest.
Well, yeah, well, because it's Nick Cage. Like
This is
you
true.
just put
You put him
you
in
just put
anything,
his
and this man will just make it memorable. This is fair.
there
This is
you
a
go.
very fair statement.
There you
But
go.
this
You
doesn't
know
have that
something?
quality.
If Nick Cage played Sully, it wouldn't have fit
Fuck, I
at
would have been
all.
so up for that. I would have been so.
But
I
I
would not
would
have given a shit. Like if you're gonna put, Mark Wahlberg, just put Nick Cage, and then just like have your cheeky little, National Treasure remembrance and references and shit. I would have loved that. I would have just been, I'm in. I'm down. Let's go.
Yeah. Well, with that said, I
They
think we
lost.
can.
You're so right. They lost out on this one. They should have picked
Mhm.
Nick Cage as Sully. Nick Cage can't be Drake, but Nick Cage can absolutely be Sully, and it would have been wonderful.
Like again, it wouldn't be the ideal choice, but
No,
it
it would
would
be
have been a
so
hell of a
far
lot.
from the ideal choice. It would have
Yeah,
been awful, but it would have
but
been
yeah,
wonderful.
yeah, but you know that Nick Cage would have put his all
Oh yeah,
into it. So I would have loved that
you would have
as an
seen.
ironic.
It would have been a weird Sully, but it would have been beautiful.
Well, at the same time, you need to understand Nick Cage was also almost Superman at some point. So yeah,
Mm, mm, mm. He is
now I
Superman.
want
He is.
now I want to see Face. Now I want to see Face off again, but that's
Mm.
for another time.
Hmm.
Anyway, Uncharted spoilers in 3, 2, 1. You still hear good. Nathan Drake gets AIDS and dies, but okay.
Fair.
Somebody actually, this is actually a quote in a video game forum I was a part of years ago.
Of course.
Somebody actually said that as a fake spoiler. So yeah,
Hmm.
it's anyway. So spoilers. I will say I caught that Naughty Dog logo. You thought I wouldn't catch it, but I did.
I missed that one. The one I definitely caught though was the Nathan Drake's VA being on the beach
Yeah.
when they got there.
Oh, I
I was
was about to bring it.
I was fuck you movie. You can't have your cake and eat it too. Don't do that bullshit. You're not good enough for that.
Like, don't get me wrong. I'm glad that Nolan North got his cameo. I am glad that he's in the movie into some,
It was so
but like,
dumb though.
I wouldn't mind him just being there. But how do I say? It's a Stan Lee cameo, but if they put way too much emphasis on it,
Yeah. Like it's not any of the good Marvel more recent Marvel Stan Lee cameos, right?
yeah.
Like the
No,
one
because here's the
from
thing. What's
it's not the Spider-Man, Stan Lee cameo where they're fighting in the background and he's just there
Oh, yeah,
listening to the music and
it's
everything.
in the Amazing Spider-Man one.
Yeah, it's not that cameo. That cameo was good. That was how you do
No,
cameo.
but here's the thing. Whenever Stanley had his cameos, God bless his soul,
Mhm.
the thing about it is that, if you didn't know who this guy is, then he was just an old man there who would crack a joke. He would just be, he would be harmless. He
Mhm.
wouldn't be a scene. Here, it's just they just talk to this random dude who is chilling on the beach for no reason, and it's like, what the hell does he have to do with anything?
It's so dumb.
But
It's so dumb.
yeah, but you know what? I don't care. It was dumb, but I loved seeing.
Yeah, that's
Actually,
fair. I
funny
feel like
story
that was
about
the
this.
one time. That was the one time where this movie's like, there's the charm. There's the charm. That was one of the
Because
few times. And it's like, damn it, why couldn't you be that all the time? That just you don't deserve this. Fuck you for it. You're terrible, but damn it if you don't have the charm. That was one of those few moments. It's like, yeah, all right, I'm happy with that.
I
But
I
instead, I
would
got a
say
movie
though
that you're
that
not good enough for that.
I would just he should have just kept it to a one-line thing or something, but again, they put way too much emphasis on it, and I know this because I have a friend who didn't know the games at all. Like her boyfriend kinda knew them. He didn't like he didn't play them, but he knew the story.
Mhm.
So I think he even missed that. But anyway, so after she saw the movie, I asked her, okay, listen, what did you think about the guy on the beach? And she was like, oh, he was so weird. What was the point of him? What the hell? and it's like, you
Fair.
see, you don't really get whatever the Stanley cameo was, you wouldn't get anyone going, oh my god, what was the point with this old guy? What the hell is he? So you see what I mean? It's just
Yeah,
like
no, that's fair.
it's not just a matter of having your cake and eating it too. It's a matter of trying to finish it all in one sitting.
Very fair.
Okay, but either way, Nolan North is legendary. Even if it was so dumb, I'm glad that he had a cameo. But speaking of which, though, there's actually a small moment in the climax where so they're in the boat. There are the two helicopters and they're raising the boats. And so there's a quick point here when Nate puts on the gun pouch and he's ready to fight. And
Mm.
when they do that, they play this little remix of the Uncharted theme. And you know what? When that played, I was like, okay, you know what, movie? You kind of earned it. Give me. I'm cool with this. I'm good with this.
That's fair.
Hmm.
That's very fair. Like
You
again,
know,
it has those moments where it's like, yeah, this is Uncharted. This works. This is that. I get that feeling from this. But again, as you said before, it's rare that you get that from this movie. And when you're not getting it, it feels like everything here is okay. It works, but there's just that thing missing, and it's just something's not there, right? It's just that quality, that that hidden thing that makes Uncharted Uncharted.
The heart, in a sense, I'd
Mm.
even say the heart of it is.
It's very much a thing of, you stole an Uncharted skin, you look like Uncharted, you sound like Uncharted,
Yeah.
but you're not Uncharted.
Yeah, and that's the thing that when again you say that it doesn't feel like it, but then they adapt some of the scenes from the games, which cool enough,
Mm-hmm.
they did
The
the
cargo plane scene, yeah.
airplane scene,
Yeah.
yeah, the cargo plane scene, but they also kind of did their own take on it because in Uncharted 3, when this happens, for one, they're in the middle of the desert and not the ocean, so already there's a scenery change. But in the game, Nate is on that plane by himself. Here
Mm-hmm.
he has Chloe and Sully to walk with.
Yeah.
Also, I know it's not this scene, but like in the trailer, it was in this point. But like that Scottish dude is great. That was the point I was actually laughing.
Yeah, he's fun. Very just
That
like
is just,
random side villain character, but fun.
yeah, no, but I like that he's just coming up to Nathan's like he talks in this thick accent. You're gonna get a proper Scottish welcome, and Nathan's like, "What?" And again, this is one of those things. Yeah, you know what? Nathan Drake would react like this. This is one of those moments
Man,
where it
I'm
hits them.
I really do feel like Tom Holland nailed that psychotic niceness of Nathan Drake. Like Nathan Drake is a psychopath. Let's be clear, he's a psychopath. He's a nice psychopath, but he's a psychopath. And I feel like Tom Holland nails that. I feel like Tom Holland really nails the nice psychopath.
And in a sense, he does, but there are some points where it's like okay, in the cargo plane scene, there's the point where like he kicks. There's like the guy who falls and he yells at him, "Sorry, this is not Nathan Drake. This is the MCU Spider-Man."
No, that's
No.
Nathan Drake. That's
no,
that's Tom Holland playing Nathan Drake, but that's absolutely Nathan Drake.
No, but he won't go sorry. It's like, oh, you're really falling for me, or something like that. It's like, what is sorry? It's so lame.
Fair. I feel like, yeah, they're missing they have a few moments of it, but they are missing somewhat the very punny Nathan Drake.
Random thing though. I counted this. I literally sat in the theaters with my fingers and counted. Nathan Drake says, "Oh crap," 3 times in the whole thing. 3 times.
Really? That's where we're at now? He didn't say "oh crap" enough.
Yeah, it's his fucking catchphrase.
Fair.
Okay, you know what? No, I'll give them credit. It's 3.5 times because one of them is in a flat because they do this thing of like, we start in the action, then it's like, oh, let's see how we got here, and so he technically says it 4 times, but he said 1 time is repeat, so 3.5 times. Fuck you, movie. I know, I'm nitpicky, but hey,
yes,
I don't care.
Very, but it's okay. You're allowed it.
Yeah, it's my podcast, of course. Anyway, so again, there are some things. So they're lifted from the games, like I said, with the cargo, and even the climax is kind of a combination of the climax in Uncharted 1 and the climax in Uncharted 4. And then there's also the scene when they're trying to outbid the thing they need. When Nathan and Sully are going into that party and are trying to steal that thing from the auction. That's also from Uncharted 4. Those all scenes are taken from the games, but they're given different spins. They're given different, vibes to them, which fair enough, cool. I don't mind that. And there's also something that I remember. There's this entire sequence of, Nathan, Chloe going down that dungeon, let's call it that. And Sully's like, above ground, having to do the same things and help them. That's actually a cool idea that wasn't really in the games. There would have times where they split up, but then the other character was doing its thing, and you'll just meet up with them later. This was actually, a tag team idea, and it was cool. The scenarios are cool. Again, it's just that something is missing. And speaking of something is missing, Antonio Banderas was wasted.
Yeah, the way he died, that was just like so out of nowhere. I'm like, I thought very genuinely, right? I was like, all right, he's a pretty good villain. Like, this is, a nice new villain for the movie. I like this. They could go somewhere with this guy, with Antonio, and it's just killed by Joe Braddock, this, lady who's not really had a lot going for her so far, character-wise.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's just
like
he's dead, and
it's
that's
like they
it.
kind of wanted. Yeah, it just kind of they wanted Nadine from Uncharted 4 and Lost Legacy in there, but it's like, but let's not call her Nadine.
Yeah, I was gonna ask,
Okay,
like, Joe Braddock's not from the games at all, right? Like, that's
no,
basically them
again,
doing Nadine, yeah.
like she's like literally. I didn't even remember she has a name. I just called her the not Nadine. That's how I remember her.
Well, her name is Joe Braddock, and there's not much of a character there other than her and Sully have a history, and they
Which
work
again,
together.
not Nadine. Not Nadine. That's the whole thing this character is. It's
Fair,
not Nadine.
fair. But yeah, like she was not your villain of choice. You should have kept it as Antonio Banderas. You could have worked with this guy. Like, this guy had, there was history there. There was a little bit of back and forth between him and Nate. You had a thing there that could have worked really well if you would have kept him as a villain. And then you get to the plane scene, right before the plane scene, she just slits his throat. Well, you really weren't cut out for, this mission after all, after she slits his throat. And I'm like, that's so out of nowhere. Why?
Yeah.
Why is he dead here? Why is she the one killing him?
Yeah, I get what they were trying to do, and what they're trying to do is go with this entire team of you can't trust anyone in this business.
It doesn't work though.
Yeah, no. I'm not saying it does, but I'm just saying I get what they were trying to do. If they succeeded or failed is a completely different story.
Here's the thing, though. That moment, basically, in my opinion, right? I don't want to harp on it too much because, again, it's an okay movie, but that's where the movie's logic just completely just fell apart for me. It's like, why? But even if, okay, we ignore why. She has all of his money now. What does she fucking care about the gold at that point? I would just say, fuck it. I got all his money. I'm rich. I'm done.
Yeah,
moving on.
I get it. If I may, I can't believe I'm saying this, but if I may borrow from the idiotic logic of what his face, William Fichtner from the Michael Bay TMNT movie.
Oh boy.
He wants to be stupid rich. So maybe she just wants the treasure to be stupid rich. She needs to be richer.
That's fair. That is completely fair. I get that. I understand that want, at least. If you're gonna be rich, why not be stupid rich, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Being rich is boring. Being stupid rich is interesting.
Sachs, that was the name of the character from that movie. Eric Sachs, right?
I mean, I get it, but that's kind of the point where I did start to be like, okay, we're in the last half, so we need our surprise twist villain, I suppose, that everyone probably knew was going to happen, and it's not surprising that it happened, but it just comes back to why.
I get the point. It's just that the point is stupid.
Yeah, it made way more sense for Antonio Banderas' character, Moncada, to be the main villain, because like that dude had, way more at stake than
it was fun. He was hemming it
Joe
up.
Braddock.
He was the type of villain this movie needed. And then it's like, nope.
Like, he even had a moment, like, he's even on the plane having the big speech of, this treasure, I've spent my years, my life, years of my life trying to find this. I deserve this. And she just approaches him and just slits his neck. It's so out of nowhere that it's just, you have to think for a moment. It's like, he's still alive, right? Like, he's not dead. No.
I almost thought like maybe maybe he had like a body double or something because he
God,
knew
what
if
if
he
they
was
do that
going
in the
to do
second
this.
movie? What if they do that in the second movie? Like, he's actually
Actually,
not
you know
dead.
what? We're talking about this. They are planning to do this with Sam, actually, but we'll get to it. We'll get to that later. Anyway, oh my God,
Fuck.
that's too stupid. Yeah.
If they do, then props to them. They've nailed Uncharted at that point. If they
Actually,
bring him back as like, I'm not dead, and he still has the scar on his neck, like they've nailed Uncharted at that point. They've nailed it.
no,
They
no, I
do get
wouldn't say
it.
that. No, I wouldn't say that because villains in Uncharted usually don't carry on from game to game. But
They've nailed that. Well, all right, you're fair. They've not nailed Uncharted, but they've nailed that over the top zaniness that is at that
yeah,
point Indiana Jones. Really, like
yeah,
that's Indiana Jones more than it is Uncharted. Fair.
that is very fair. That is fair.
And I guess if
Oh,
you're trying to make Indiana Jones, fair enough, you've nailed it at that point. But this isn't Indiana Jones. This is Uncharted. As similar as they may be, they are different. And yeah, like
yeah.
I sort of asking, what did you think as I believe her name is Sophia Ali as Chloe? I thought she
She,
was good Chloe. She works.
yeah, I think of all the casting of like characters who were in the games, she was the one I was the most okay with.
Mm-hmm.
She's not one-to-one games Chloe, but Claudia Black, I think that's the name of the voice actress. But
Mm-hmm.
she did the, she got the job done. She kind of looks the part. She plays the only thing that is driving me insane, and I went into this, that apparently she's younger than Tom Holland, but she looks a lot older than him.
Yeah, kinda. Yeah, yeah, I can see that. Like Tom Holland, I don't know. Like to me, I kind of felt like these two look similar-ish in age, but Tom Holland, thinking about it, does look slightly older than she does. But she's
No,
supposed to be
actually,
younger than him in the movie.
no, no, no. They're supposed to be the same age. They're supposed to have a romance going, obviously, and that's something I'll
Yeah,
get to. But like, is she? But like, she actually looks a bit older. Like there's a major age gap between them. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Uh, and
I
that she
get
looks
it, but
older.
I think I'm a little bit the reverse. That she doesn't look older.
Hmm.
That she looks younger.
Well, well, fuck me. What do you want me to say? I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
But
Maybe I'm like,
anyway.
age blind at this point. Old man, when you get to a certain age, you just become age blind at that point. I don't know. Everyone looks younger to me.
Fair enough. So anyway, what was I about to say on that? But yeah, she did good. The thing is, they are obviously playing on to the fact that Nate and Chloe have a thing. But the but the thing is, I don't know. It feels like they didn't reach that, even though we know in the games that they have a romantic history, and it kind of comes into play at some point. So it's like, again, it's one of those things that I get what you're trying to do, but you're not going all the way with it. I did like though that Nate kind of figured out that she was gonna betray him after they rented that hotel place,
Mhm.
and he actually gave her a fake coordinations.
Yeah,
That is actually a point where I'm like, okay, you know what? I can see this walking as like a younger Nate growing into
yeah,
what we know him.
yeah. That's how like as I began to as saw more and more of the movie, it really did feel like this is Nathan Drake before you see him in the games, right? This is the Nathan Drake that becomes that Nate. Like this is how it began. This is how it started. And
Yeah.
looking at that, I can kind of see it, and some of the acting, some of the casting choices makes a bit more sense in terms of like they don't look the part, but as they get older, you could maybe see them looking that part a bit more and a bit more. But
Mhm.
uh, you know, and that's fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But I'm not sure if it works, right? Like, it's okay, but
And
I'm not sure if it works.
again, it feels like the pieces are there and the execution is starting to pull them together, but it's not
Well,
quite there.
it
It's they're always one step short.
there was a part of me watching this though that while I was watching it, I felt like, you know, I really do feel like this would have been better as a show. What do you think? Instead of a movie.
Um,
I feel
I
like
wouldn't
if this was a
necessarily say
show,
that.
oh, go ahead.
No, I wouldn't necessarily say it's a show. It's just that maybe I think the movie just needed maybe one or two more rewrites to
I,
just really nail the story down to like we really got what we wanted to say here done. We
mhm.
said what we wanted to say. Now we can continue.
It's
But I wouldn't necessarily say it needed to be a show, but like just maybe rewrite some stuff, change some things, and it would have been great.
I don't know.
But
I say show because I think that would have given you the chance to have the audience try and solve the clues along with the characters and everything as well. Because that's kind of one of the drawing points of the game is you are that Indiana Jones type character, right? You're doing all the action
yeah,
stunts and you're solving the puzzles and you're the big brain here that's figuring out the other big brain past people and what they've hidden
unless
away.
unless you're spending too much time on a puzzle, and then the game is like, "Hey, want me to solve it for you?" And you're like, "Yeah, sure, whatever."
Okay, ignoring that part. We don't
Yeah,
we don't
I'm
do
just
details here on the Outcast HC. Come on.
I'm just joking. I'm allowed
No,
this.
it's fair. You're fair. I mean, I don't know. In that respect, in that regard, I feel like a show works better here because then you can plan things out more and you can build up to more stuff and you can have more of those character interactions, right? But I do think if you're doing that, it shouldn't be like a quote unquote prequel, right? And I think you should pick, different casting choices where the cast is more in line with the characters from the game, right?
Wait, by the way, I forgot to mention this, but before the movie, there was actually like a PlayStation Studios logo, which has
Yeah,
a
I
lot
saw
of
that.
PlayStation characters. That, for one, I won't lie, I was kind of grinning because to those who don't know, I'm a big PlayStation fan. I've been with PlayStation since the start, and like the PS5 is one of my favorite things that I have at the moment. But and like seeing those characters there, it's like knowing that this could actually lead to something because, and arguably you can say that the Ratchet and Clank movie started, but that bombed. So,
Yeah, it could lead to the PlayStation multiverse.
which you know what? Bring it. You know what? I'd be so down.
Ratchet and
So
Clank and
freaking
Nathan Drake and Tom Holland, Nathan Drake on the same screen together, working together. My
yeah.
God, what are we creating?
There's kind of a thing. There's kind of a thing like there's only not working together and more beating each other up, and it's called PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale.
And
So
that
yeah.
lasted. You did great with that one, Sony. That one really ran the mile, huh? Going to compete with
You know
Smash Bros. Going
something?
to do something. Oh, it's gone already. It
You
went
know,
silent and dark within a couple months. Oh,
you know something? You know something? Here's my hot take. I actually really like that game, and people will just bitchy about it
no.
because it was
I
like
think people generally liked it too. Just like people liked the PS Vita and the PSP. What happened to them, Sony? Where you at? Nowhere? Because you
uh,
just don't give a shit? I know. I'm shocked.
uh, okay. You know something? Now that you mentioned the Vita, I completely forgot that there was an Uncharted game on the Vita, which I didn't play
Fuck,
because I
that's
never
right,
had
there
a
was.
Vita. So
I own that.
wait, you do?
The PS Vita, yeah, and that one Uncharted game, that's it.
You had it?
Yes. I'm one of the one I'm the other one guy who bought the PS Vita. I'm also the
Actually,
other one guy who bought the PSP because I like those handhelds. Those handhelds. Those are good handhelds.
no,
Sony?
this is a topic for another day. But like, if you actually look in Japan, the PSP was like doing numbers. That thing was like
So was the PS Vita.
insanely
And
popular.
that's why there's like so much of those fucking porn games on the damn thing and nothing else. that they've never ported over here, because why would they? Who wants to play those fucking things? Not judging, but I'm totally judging if you want to play them. But I'm not judging you. Totally judging you, though. But Sony just forgets the damn things exist, and it's like, okay, cool.
Also, for the love of God, Capcom, why in the hell is the PSP the only way we can play Mega Man Powered Up and Maverick Hunter X? Those are great remakes. Can we get them on consoles?
No one wants. Because they're on the PSP. Play that, please. They're on the PS Vita. Play that, please. Sony cares about it. It's coming back, guys. We swear. It's coming back. The new PS handheld, the new PS Vita, PSP handheld thing. It's coming out. We swear. We're going to do something with the handheld next time, and we're going to stick by it this time. Fuck me. If Sony does that again.
Dreamcast 2.
Listen, they actually cared about that console. That console just failed because it just couldn't do anything. But that console was cared about. The PSP and the PS Vita, those were just released out to die. Sony's like, here, whatever.
You know, the Vita, yes. The PSP had a start. It tried. The Vita was just like, I guess we're doing it.
The PS Go? Remember that? I remember that.
Oh, yeah, that was a thing too. What the hell?
Now, that was a console that was released to die.
It wasn't necessarily a console. It was like...
I swear Sony just needed tax write-offs, and they're like, what can we come up with to give to people that are like, make us a little bit of money, but we're mostly just doing it so we can get lower and cheaper taxes. And some guy in the boardroom's like, a handheld like Nintendo's, but better. I'm like, done. And so they made 3 of the damn things, and those were their tax write-offs, and then just did not care afterwards. And then they realized, oh, fuck, we fucked up. People like these things. Damn it. Stop releasing games. Stop. Just let them quietly die so we can get our tax write-off. Hurry.
On that really quick thing to close this up, Gravity Rush is a really awesome game, and if you haven't played it, either on the Vita or the PS4 remaster, and it's PS4 sequel, you should play Gravity Rush. It's awesome.
Yeah, but just get it on the main console, because then you get other games. Don't buy the Vita for that damn thing. It's not worth it. Trust me, I should know.
That's why I mentioned there's a PS4 remaster and the sequel.
Listen, I gotta slag off the Vita. Game? I own the damn thing, but I still gotta slag it off at any chance I get. Why, Sony? Why?
Well, you're one step ahead of me. I didn't have a Vita at all, but okay.
It's not worth buying.
We were talking about Uncharted, right?
Listen, it's tangentially related. There's an Uncharted game on the Vita. I own it. I've played it.
Too. Yeah,
and it's okay.
So anyway, back to the movie here. So regarding character arcs and movie plot and stuff, I said I don't necessarily mind the theme of oh, you can't be nice in this game. You have to know when to turn on people. You need to people will always turn their backs to you and they're gonna betray you. That's I like it for Nate. I like that idea, but then Sully is kind of going through the opposite arc, which is, he's been in this game. He knows you can make friends. You are looking out for yourself. If you have a partner, then they're disposable. Everyone's expendable. But then in the end, he suddenly cares for Nate, and he's sacrificing the treasure to save him. And it's like, okay, when did that happen, movie?
Yeah, like the idea of Sully and Nate's relationship works because Nate was with Sully when he was much younger. Like he grew up with the dude, right? And they worked together way back then.
In the games, that's how it works. Yeah, in the games, that's how it works. Nate met and...
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, so in the games, in the Uncharted 3 flashbacks, we see that Nate met Sully when he was a kid, around preteen. He looks preteenish.
Yeah. Like, younger than what this Nathan Drake is supposed to be.
Yeah, much. Again, he was preteen. And here, Nathan Drake is at least 18 years old because he can bout him. So,
If he's in,
by
it's
the
the
way,
U.S. older than 18. That's in the 20s.
okay, 21, right? So he has to be 21,
Mm-hmm.
which felt still younger than what Nate is supposed to be in the first game. I think he's like in his late 20s, early 30s in that. But
Hi, old man here.
okay, not the point. But anyway, we have this. And then, so it makes more sense that Sully would want get more attached to him, and something like in the two levels, which equal to like maybe 30 minutes of gameplay. I got more character development between Sully and Nate than this entire movie. This movie does not develop Sully at all in that
I,
regard.
and that's kind of why I go back to I think this would have worked better as a show because there's not enough time given to anything that it feels like it could be really good character development except
I wouldn't even
maybe
necessarily
Nate and that's
say
it.
I wouldn't even necessarily say that it's a show problem or script. I think it's also kind of a direction thing.
Mm.
That and maybe something was cut, maybe something was done. Because I'll tell you what, the guy who I found this out because I was making a joke for my video, and then I researched it, and it's like, oh shit, it is the same guy. This is the director of this movie is the same guy who directed the first Venom movie.
Oh wow.
And yeah, and the first Venom movie, as much as I adore that movie for both legit and not legit reasons, as much as I love it, the thing that really makes me, which is really not walking in it, but at the same time I love it so much, is that Venom turns on his kind so freaking quickly. Have you seen Venom?
It's no, I've not seen it. I know some of it, but I've not seen it fully. No.
And basically, quick. If you care about spoilers for Venom, like there's a sequel. What? so, so the thing is that Venom comes from they drag him and another symbiote from their planet, and that other symbiote is like the leader, Riot, and Venom
Mm.
finds Eddie Brock, and they bond. And Venom tells Eddie, "Hey, listen, so we are gonna destroy your planet, but I need you in order to get to places and stuff. So you stuck with me, so I'll help you. You help me, kind of thing. And then
Mm.
there's this, and if you help me, I might let you live. So there's this entire thing. At some point, Venom and Eddie kind of get separated, and then they get back together. And there's like a point where then just they have this really quick exchange where Venom just tells Eddie, "You know what? I decided to stay because blah 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 blah." And Eddie tells him, "Cut the bullshit. What made you change your mind?" And Venom goes, "You did, Eddie." And it's like, when? When did this guy change your mind? Again, I love that movie. I really do. Put it on any day, I'll watch it. But that was so stupid.
No, that's fair. That is
That was
completely
so.
fair. That's what we
But
call movie logic.
because it's so on the dime, but it also follows the greatest line of dialogue ever written on a page, which is, "In my planet, I am kind of a loser like you." Oh,
So
sorry. That is my slight Venom tangent.
oh, that's so
Okay.
awful, but at the same time, that's really good.
So yeah, so Mr. Director here directed both movies. He directed both the first Venom movie and this,
With that,
and it
you know what?
feels.
With that line, yeah, I can clearly see it. There's some lines in this movie that are like, God, that's dumb, but it works, so whatever. I'll let you have it. But God, it's dumb.
And it's even funnier when you think that Venom, he was a writer. He was a writer director. Here, he was just a director. But
I don't believe it. He wrote this. Some of it he had to have.
well, as a director, he has some sort of power to say
True,
the
true.
changes. So yeah. Anyway, so there's the same thing here. That it's like it feels like in this I could kind of get, okay, I know why Nate is making the choices he does. I know why all this is happening. This is good. This is okay. And then there's like Sully, which I just don't believe for a second cares about Nate in this movie, which is kind of important because apparently his arc is that he starts to care for Nate, and they're supposed to end up being, you know, the good friends and have this father son dynamic like in the games. I don't buy it.
Again,
And
I stand by it. I think the banter back and forth is really good, but I agree with you. They needed more. Like, there's nothing that makes me. I think, yeah, these two people are people who have decided to work together, and their personalities clash at times, but they work with one another, right? That's what it feels like. It doesn't feel like, yeah, these two people care about one another. They are very close and would be willing to risk their lives for one another, right? Or at least give
yeah,
up treasure, and millions, if not billions of dollars for one another, right? But you don't get that feeling from this, right? And I agree with you.
yeah,
I think it needed more time, and that's just why I keep coming back to. I feel like this would have been better as a show, not a movie. I don't think there's
maybe.
any,
I,
like,
I
you
get.
can get to that point, but you're gonna need like two more movies at least before I feel like, yeah, these two characters care one another. They're willing to die for
I
one
think
another.
I think there's this thing where I, again, not sure, maybe you're right, the show could have saved that, but I feel, again, like something was lost in the editing. Something was cut at some
Mm,
point. At some stage of development, something went missing.
possible. We get the Uncharted
We
uncut
kind of live.
version.
Yeah. So, by the way, I just want to say, I think we can also say that there are already, two post-credit scenes, and the thing is, my friend, who saw the one I mentioned earlier, who
There's
had
two.
no
I must have
experience
missed
with
the
the game,
second one.
yeah. So there's one that's like just literally after the movie, after they go to the trailer, I think. So there's like a scene where we say, "Oh, so he has a mustache now, dippity dope, and he
Oh, I
has a
missed
cat."
that one.
Yeah. But it wasn't just a scene to show that Nate and Sully are now part of mall. And then they walk out of this bar. And Nate goes, "Oh crap!" Cut to black.
Nate goes, "What?"
Oh crap!
And that's it?
Yeah,
That's in the movie?
yeah, that's in the movie. That's the
What
first.
kind of Okay. I had to look it up. I had to see Mark Wahlberg with a mustache. It looks as dumb as I thought it would.
Anyway, and after that, there's like the other post-credit scene is that you see Sam, Nate's brother, in a prison, and
Yeah,
he
this one I
writes one of
saw.
those. Yeah, well, he does like this. He writes this postcard to Nate, and Nate is something terrible is happening. And okay, this is the point I want to talk about because in the games they made Sam up for the fourth game.
Hmm.
And in this, they now they're like, oh, okay, we know that Nathan Drake has a brother named Sam. He's voiced by Troy Baker. This has nothing to do with anything. I just want to point out that Troy Baker has to take Nolan North's fame wherever he goes. But voice actors jokes, ignore me.
Hmm.
So anyway, now we know that Sam is a thing in Nate's past. So why not actually play on it? And we start with kind of a retelling of the Uncharted 4 backstory, where we see that Nate grew up in a Catholic school,
Hmm.
and then like one night he and Sam got into some trouble, and then Sam ran away, promising Nate that he'll come back for him and everything. And yeah, in the games, it's more that they both found out about they're looking for something their mother was a part of, and then after some runaway with cops, they decided, okay, you know what? We're changing our names from Nathan Sam whatever to Nathan Sam Drake.
Yeah.
Uh, so this is how the game did it. In here, it's just like Sam tells Nate, "I'll come back for you," and he keeps sending them postcards until one day he just stops.
Hmm.
And now, and here they're suddenly playing this off as, Sully apparently teamed up with Sam at some point, and he knows about what happened to him. And there's this kind of back and forth of like, why didn't you tell me? And all of that. And okay, you know what? Fair enough that you want to introduce Sam early on now because you know this stuff. You're doing your own thing. Fine. Kind of like they're doing. We see how Nate and Chloe met because when they meet, when we see Chloe in Uncharted 2, then we already know that she and Nate had a history. So okay, cool. I don't mind that, but so there's something about Sam in this movie universe that both intrigues me and also makes me go, "What's the point?" Because we know he's alive and they're planning something with him and all, but what was the point of just keep shoving him into the plot? Because he doesn't really have anything to do with plot aside from convincing Nate to team up with. That's really
Because
the
he's
only
Nate's
thing.
brother, and they're close, and they're brothers and family. HC.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's not really working if I don't see Sam as a physical thing that exists until the post credits. And again, the Uncharted 4 may have just improvised Sam into the plot, but at the same time, they made it seem like he was around as Nate was growing up. When Nate lost him, he was older, he was a bit more experienced. Here it's just that he disappeared. Nate kind of wants to know what happened to him, which fine, fair. But then they do the entire thing of like Sully saw him die, and it's like, why didn't you tell me? Why? And then apparently Sam is not dead, which fair. That's how they did in the games. But like, what? Maybe a sequel can fix this. I don't know. And currently, we don't know if there's going to be a sequel or not. Although they start talking about it, but I'm both interested but also frustrated with how this was done. If that makes sense.
No, that's fair. I get you.
And so,
I
anything
have
else?
nothing. I have nothing to add to that. Sorry.
Hey, fair enough. So, anything else to add before we close? Before we close this
I mean,
discussion?
it's. I suppose it's worth asking, right? Like we've kind of bounced around a little bit, but this does pull from different games, right, to add and create its own
Mhm.
story. Do
Yeah,
you comparatively, do you think? I suppose it's worth asking, right? Do are you interested in the second movie? Do you think the second movie has a chance to correct a lot of the mistakes this one made, and do you think it can do and be better?
I think so
Hmm?
because again, looking back at the entire games, don't get me wrong, Uncharted One is a great game and everything, but I also feel like not looking back at it now when you have four or five sequels to it, then you can tell that it has that forced game syndrome. That like
Hmm.
it's perfectly good, it's playable, it's fun, it's all of that stuff, but the sequels are just that much better.
Yeah.
That looking back at it, you're like, okay. You can see small beginnings,
Hmm.
as they say.
Yeah. Yeah. You can see where, all right, this is where everything started at, and some stuff here isn't perfect and doesn't
Yeah.
quite work. But second game,
And then,
they
yeah,
perfected
and
that, and
then
third game, it's just
yeah, and then
even
in the
more
second
better.
game, yeah, and then there's the second game, which like upped the ante in a lot of ways.
Hmm.
So I don't see a reason why a second movie can't work, and it seems like they have plans, and
Hmm.
I wouldn't mind that. I would want to see, okay, you know what, you established that you're not going to direct and adapt the games. You're doing your own thing, you're taking notes, but you're also doing your own version of Uncharted. Which is not, you know, we're not which not fair enough, very fair point. I would totally be happy with seeing where they can take this.
That's fair.
So count me interested in a sequel.
That's fair. Very fair indeed. Yeah, I would say that I'm very much in the same boat. I'm not clamoring for it. I'm not, hyped for it, but I am. All right, I wouldn't mind seeing it and seeing where you go with it and seeing if you can make an even better film. And I think everything's there for a better film. They just need to tie it all together and get all those and get that good, connection going and get that good build up going. And I think they can make it work and have something really good. Still, Mark Wahlberg as Sully, try and get the guy to care a bit more. Pay him a bit more or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I think this is
or pay him a bit less until he stops phoning it in somewhat. For some of his lines.
I say I'm not sure of anything, but I think if you get a different director who could get a good performance out of him, maybe.
I think Mark Wahlberg was trying to play the fuck it, old man. And I get that. I'm fully on board with you, Mark Wahlberg, but you're just not quite pulling off the fuck it, old man. And Sully's just not that kind of old man.
Yeah, not just that, but even if you try to go for it in the sense of, everything, man, I don't get it either. I get a guy.
I feel like he's trying to play the he's just tired, but it just comes off like he's the tired old man, right? Yeah. But it just feels like Mark Wahlberg is just tired. It feels like it's Mark Wahlberg, but he's just, I'm tired. I want to go home and go to bed.
It feels like that. And it feels like that. Yeah. And that Sully is kind of like that. I'm tired. I'm tired of. He even says in another game, I'm too old for this shit.
Yeah, but that's grumpy old man, not I'm tired old man.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You see, that's what I mean. The character is supposed to be a grumpy old man, but they just made him a tired old man. A tired old man is not funny.
It didn't really even make him tired. They just kind of made him. It's not even tired old man. It's just Mark Wahlberg tired.
Yeah, and again, that's the thing that I feel like if you give I'm not sure if the director wants to come back or not. I don't know if and again, nothing against the director. I'm sure he's a small dude, but I think he just needs a director that could actually get this kind of out of him.
Yeah, fair.
Well, either way, I think I covered everything I want to say about Uncharted. So, unless we start talking about the games, but then we'll be here forever because I have a lot to say about them.
No, that's fair. The games are fun. They're enjoyable. This movie's okay. If you want to go play the games, they're better story, more enjoyable characters.
Because of that PlayStation Studios logo, I just want to ask Sony, so where's that Sly Cooper TV show? Talking about PlayStation mascots who are thieves. Well, where's my Sly Cooper love, Sony?
Sly Cooper who?
Something. It's sad that it feels like that'll be the reaction, but fuck it. Anyway, that's all for this episode of the Outcast. Well, don't start with me. Anyway, so that's all for this episode of the Outcast. We hope you enjoyed. What are your thoughts about the Uncharted movie and the games? How do you think the two pair against each other? You can follow on our Tumblr, which is Berkcast Team, on our Twitter, which is Berkcast with a capital B, capital C. And until next time, I was HC.
I was Wolf.
And we will see you all next time. Take care.
Bye-bye.